All right. All right. So another catch, the final catch. So now we looked at two things. The first thing is there must be a corresponding column or the duplicate data between the lookup value and the table we are searching. And if you are using the VLOOKUP function, then the lookup value must be in the first column in the table. The third catch, we'll see it through another example. You won't be able to see it here, but we will use another example to see it, right? So let's do a practice. Okay. Right. So we'll do this practice in a couple of ways. So I want you guys first to copy this table. So copy the table, this table that you see in front of you in an Excel sheet, ID, student name, and grade, 1 to 8. And these are the names and their grades. Okay. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that.
Is this something we should be finding on or in the modules, or should we just write this out in our own sheet?
No, you should write it down. You should write it down.
Okay.
It's something that I just created for this class. So it's not in the module. Okay. I'll give you a couple of minutes and we will start. Is anyone still typing, guys? Are you all done?
I have like one more thing to write.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay.
I finished. Just forward.
Everyone is okay. Let's go to the next one. Okay. So now I have it in a sheet called student data, and I created another one called gender. So forget about gender even. Let's delete this. Right. Now, what we want to do is, here we have the student ID, and I want you to get the letter grades. Grades index VLOOKUP. And that's it for now. So I want you to get me the letter grades using the match index function, and then do it the same way using the VLOOKUP function for now, and then we will continue from there, right? So try and do it, and we'll see if you do it right or wrong. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes, 6 minutes to do it. Okay, yeah, 6, 7 minutes to do it, and if you get an error, let me know so I can help you. Okay, try and do it. This is a direct application of what we just did.
You go back to the data. I accidentally erased it.
It's okay. If you get an error, let me know.
Yeah, Professor, sorry, I'm getting an error.
All right.
So are we.
Perfect. This is perfect. So in this class, errors are perfect. Okay. So can you share your screen so I can look at your error and see?
I
Okay.
didn't get an error, but I got the number 9. So I'm sure that's an error.
Okay. All right. So click here. Yes. So right. So you are using you have the index. Okay. Sheet 1. Yes. So there is no what is the tree at the end? There is no such thing as tree. It's go to the 3.
False. It should be false, right?
No, when you are using match, it's either index. Sorry, it's nothing. There is no parameter. You can delete this 3. It's only 2 parameters. So it's only the column you are searching in and the row number, which is 2. So you only, yeah, yes. This is the grade. You selected the wrong. It should be C2, so C9, not D2 to D9, right? The grades are in column C, not D.
Ah, right
Grades.
number. Oh,
Yes. Okay, so it's only 2 parameters when you're using the index. It's only 2 parameters.
I think his student IDs on sheet number 2 are wrong too, because you had them mixed up and Dylan has them in order. For the second sheet, Dylan.
No, it's no. This is right. So go back to sheet 1. This is 100% correct. Yeah. Now you select the column C. Click on column C. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Okay.
oops.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right. Perfect.
Thank you.
No problem.
Professor, do you mind going back to your sheet real fast? It looks different than Dylan's, the gender sheet. Your student IDs are mixed up.
Yeah. Yes, you should mix them. You need to mix them up because this is how you will get an error that I want to explain. So mix the students' IDs up. It doesn't matter how you mix them, but just mix them up.
So
Yeah, I mixed them.
where do you get the match from? I'm genuinely confused on where you're getting, like, you have the right, where did he get, like, where do you put, like, where do you get the numbers for that? I don't get it.
For the match?
Yeah, for the match, what the, like, I don't get where.
Okay, so let me share your screen and I will show you how to get the match. Okay.
Well, the computer I'm using isn't the one I'm zooming on.
Okay,
So
I understand. So I will show that you in a minute. Once we do it together, I will show that you in a minute. Okay. I will show you how to get the matches. We use the match function. So the match function that we just did. So equal match, and then we are looking for this ID. So you click the ID, and then sorry, right? I'm looking for this ID, and I'm searching for the ID in the student data table. So I will select the column with the IDs here, and then I want for an exact match. So I will click. It dated something. So right. So again, in the gender, I will select here and then comma. And then in the student data, I will select the column with the IDs. And then comma, I'm looking for exact match. And then equal match. The lookup value is this student ID in that I'm trying to fill the data for, comma. The lookup array is the column with the IDs in the column I'm searching, comma, and then 0, and then enter. So this is how I get the row number for this student ID, okay, using the match function. Okay.
If you drag that formula down, will it fill in the rest for
Yes.
the matches?
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. So the match function, this is the first step, is getting the location of this student ID in the search table, the table I'm searching. Right. I will click here again so you can see how I wrote it. Okay. And then for the letter grade, we use the index function. So now I use the match function to get the location of this student. Now I want to get the grade of the same student. So I will use the index function, which takes two parameters. The first one is the array, the column containing the grades, the letter grades. So I will go to student data and I'm going to click, it's column C. So I will click the whole column containing the grades, right? And then the row number is the number I got from the match. So this is the number here I got from the match. And that's it.
Just the number or the whole row?
No, just the number. It says here, if you look at, in order not to be confused, you can look at the parameter name. It's called row number, just a number, right? It doesn't say row, it says row number, right? So I click this, the number I got from the match function, and that's it. So student number 4 got a D, and I grab this down, and I will get everything in place.
You do that one more time.
Of course. Again, equals index. This is how we get the values. The first parameter is the column containing the data we want, right? We want the letter grades. So I will go to the student data and I will select the column with the letter grades, which is column C, right? And then the row number. The row number is the number I got from the match function. Okay. So this is the number I got from the match function, row number 5, and then close the parentheses and then enter, and then that's it. I can repeat this 100 times. So if you don't get it, I can do it again and again. Don't worry about it. Okay, guys.
Can you do it one more time, please?
Of course, no problem. Happy to. Right, so again, equals index. Index takes two parameters only. The third one is optional and we don't use it. So the first parameter is the column containing the data we want. The data we want is the letter grades, right? So I go to student data, the other sheet I'm searching, and select column C. I wrote it down because it's hidden, so I wrote it down like this. But if you click the title of the column, you will get it. And then comma, and then the second parameter is the row number. The row number for student number 5, I think, right? So you go to gender, and the row number for student number 4 is 5. This is the row number. I got that using the match function. So I click here, close the parentheses, press enter, and I got it right.
Okay, so the very first thing you're doing where it says you'd hit index and it goes student data, where's that? I'm not, so when I hit index, I keep getting error or I get a D, which is pissing me off because I don't understand where you're getting this.
No problem. Can you share your screen with me so I can show that to you?
No, I'm not doing it on the computer that I'm zooming on.
Sorry.
So
Okay.
I know.
That's hard to, it's hard to show you.
So you
Now,
click, so literally the first, so you hit index, and then where are you getting that student data, where it has it in like quotes, kind of? I don't get where that.
It's the other sheet, the sheet containing the student data, the sheet that I asked you to fill before, the one
Yeah,
with
so I have that. So you go to that and you click column 3, right? That has the grades.
Yes.
So every time I do this, it doesn't. So mine says sheet C1.
not C1. You click the whole column, the whole, not just one cell.
How do you get around clicking that when you have a thing right in your way?
Okay, so to do that, you write it down. So you write C dot double dots C again. C colon C, right? So we have the sheet name followed by an exclamation mark, and then C, and then double dots, and then C.
And then comma, the match number.
Right, and then yes, comma, the match number, and that's it.
There we go. Yeah. I
Now
just
it works.
I was trying to select that whole row, but I couldn't select because I got it.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions here, guys, before we move to the VLOOKUP, which is the real issue here? Any questions? All right. So let's do it using the VLOOKUP function. Okay. So equals VLOOKUP, and I want you to see what's going to happen in a minute now. Now, VLOOKUP function takes 4 parameters. The first one is the lookup value. Again, we're using the student ID. So I will click the student ID. And then the table array. So the whole table starting from the student ID, right? So I will go here, select my whole data starting from the ID. Right? Because I'm using the ID as my key, I will select it all the way to the end. And then comma, and then the column index number. I want to get the letter grades, which is in column number 3. 1, 2, 3. So I put 3 here. And I'm looking for an exact match for the ID, so I will select false. And that's it. I'll press enter. Same grade. Okay.
So you have to type the number 3 for the column instead of selecting it?
Yes, you have to write its number, not select the name of the column. You have to write it explicitly. Okay. Now, this is not the interesting part. The interesting part is when we drag this down like this and get these nice errors here. Can anyone tell me why we got these errors?
Because we included the ID.
I'm sorry?
We included the ID in our data.
No, it's correct to include the ID because my key value is the ID itself, right? We have the ID here and I'm using it to get the data. So it's correct to use the ID. This is not the error.
Is it because it's the first one?
What do you mean? Can you explain more why the first one is causing issues?
Because there's nothing before it.
No. Okay, so let me show you. And again, this is something not just related to VLOOKUP, it's everywhere in Excel. Okay, so
is your array incorrect?
Yes, the range is incorrect, right? So
is it because there's double values?
No. Yes, you are right, Ashley. I will explain that in a minute. Thank you, Ashley. This is the right thing. So I want you to watch closely what happens. This is the VLOOKUP that I did, right? Look at the range I'm searching here. This is the range of the table, A1 to D9, right? Now, when I move to the next, when I drag this down, Excel has a very useful function, but sometimes it causes confusion, right? So you can see this is the range of the table, A1 to D9, which is correct, right? We have our data starting from A1 to D9. Okay, this is correct. But when I drag this down to the next one, look at what will happen here. The range has changes to A2 to D10. Okay, and following one, it's A3 to D11. Next one, the first error here, it's A4 to D12. Okay, A4 to D12. Now, the student ID one is not in A4 to D12, it's in A2. And this is why we got an error. We got an error because the range we are searching keeps changing from one cell to the next. So how do we fix this? In order to fix this, we need to use absolute values of the cells instead of relative values. We need to fix the cell range. How do we fix a cell range and use the same cell all over? By putting a $sign before and after the column name. So if I click here before the column name for my range, Okay. Right, I inserted $sign before and after the column names, as you can see here, and then press enter, and then drag this all the way down. This error will be fixed automatically. Okay, so when we are doing the VLOOKUP between two tables, you need to make sure you are using, we call this absolute references or absolute values, right? They don't change when I move from one cell to the other. Okay, so in any question, not just in VLOOKUPs, in any question in Excel, if you want to use the same cell in each row, you don't want to change the cell, you need to fix it by inserting this $sign before and after the column name.